Hello and welcome to Deep Blue Sea, the podcast. I am Mark. Are you crying, Hoffmeyer?
And I am Jay, deviated septum cluet. And
I
always suggested, "Are you crying?" as a joke thing that you could have said. So
that was like seeing a henchman cry, and I don't know how far we get into spoilers, but seeing a henchman cry and then get called out on it is a delight. Also, DJ is the MVP of
surprise
this movie.
MVP. Yes. So yes. Well, let's see what movie we're talking about. We're talking about. This is Deep Blue Sea, the podcast, and the show. Mark and I have covered the Deep Blue Sea trilogy, scene by scene. I'm looking at some Deep Blue Sea adjacent films. Those films directed by Reddy Harlan, featuring aquatic action or sharks, and this once again features those latter two. We're talking about Meg 2, The Trench. They dropped the. It's cleaner. It's just Meg 2, The Trench. A sequel to last week's episode on The Meg. This is a sequel to that film, a 2018 film. This is a 2023 film. It's a new film. This is our first new in cinemas film that we're talking about today. And this is a sequel to that film. It's directed by Ben Wheatley. It once again stars Jason Statham.
Ben Wheatley? What's happening?
We'll get
What's
that.
happening?
Paige Kennedy, Cliff Curtis returning from the first film, adding in Wu Jing, and a bunch of other people that we'll get into, but they're less exciting than the ones we've mentioned so far. And this Jonas Taylor is back at it. There's a new mission to go back down into the trench to see what's down there. And what you know, there's some more Megs down there. There's also a Meg that's been raised in captivity. That's just a fantastic idea for everyone to do. And as soon as that was on screen, I didn't hold my head in my hands and go, "No, why would you do this?" And down in the trench, they also find like giant octopi and bad people. It's not just bad creatures. There's human villains this time around, and hilarity ensues. So, as this is a new film, we're not gonna dance around spoilers. This is a. I would advise seeing this film before listening to the podcast because we will probably spoil things. We're not gonna go full spoilers intentionally, but we're gonna just talk about the film and see what happens. And
They
if you're
show the
wondering,
ending in the trailers.
I mean, yes. And if you're wondering if like Mark's wife is joining us again as she did for last week's show. Unfortunately, no, because at the end of that show, when I said next week we're covering Meg to the Trench, she thought I said Meg to the Trench, and so she's gone to the Trench, and we can't. She's not back yet, so it's just Mark and I talking about Meg to the Trench.
She's fighting Cthulhu right now.
Oh, that's a problem. You should tell.
For Cthulhu.
Yes, absolutely, yes. She got Mallory like strapped to her.
Oh, that's the most adorable fighting force ever.
Double teaming Cthulhu.
Oh, my daughter fighting Cthulhu. That'd be amazing. She's the cutest thing ever, Jay. I don't care. Every parent says that, but I don't care.
I mean, I've seen pictures. She splashed around in a little pool. She's very cute. I agree. She is my nemesis, so that is true. I'm gonna
okay, can we talk about DJ now?
Yes. DJ Paige Kennedy returning.
All right, he has nothing to do in the first one. Falls off boats, makes ill-timed jokes.
His job in the first one is he pilots the rover that is destroyed 20 minutes into the film.
Then he does nothing but banter and make comments. But in this one, he gets a beautiful arc. And I think he and Cliff Curtis have one of the top 3 funniest moments of
pepper spray.
Yes. Of 2023. I'm just gonna jump in. They're at Mana 1, and they are there's too much plot for this movie, y'all. There's just way too much plot. It's stupid. There's so much plot.
There's some hunky mercs from Deep Blue Sea 3 are attacking the base, and Cliff Curtis and DJ are fighting back, basically.
And so they're locked in a door, and DJ tells Mac, like, hey, spray this pepper spray, wait 5 seconds, then go out and tase him. Cliff Curtis sprays the pepper spray. It's effective, but then he runs into it.
Let's go!
And his pepper spray hits him. And then he can't see, and then DJ runs out and tasers people, and he does spin kicks. And he shoots monsters in the head, and he has full of lines, and he's a welcome character. He contributes in this film.
This film feels like a Fast and Furious reboot to make franchise where Paige Kennedy is the Roman, in that he's still providing the comic relief, but he's also like capable and an active member of the team. Where they say since the first film he had all these problems. Why would he come back to the second film? Because now he's learned how to fight. He's learned how to swim. he has a bag full of all of that. He's prepared for every eventuality, including condoms. Anything that can come up, he's gonna be there to deal with it. And I think that's fantastic. Like, how many sequels do you see where characters from the first one come back and have learned nothing? They make all the same mistakes.
They regress in those points. Like
Right.
Tyrese in the first film was a very capable, great driver, serious dude, and now he's like, "Whoa! Like just screaming everywhere and drive. I mean, he can drive in space, which is awesome, but yeah, there's no regression for DJ. And I also think it's very refreshing that Jason Statham and Wu Jing are just nice dudes.
Yes. I mean, I was waiting for Wu Jing's character to die, just because he makes a lot of mistakes. He's out there swimming. He has a pet Meg. He has a Meg that he thinks he has trained, and no, just no. And there are numerous times where you think, "Oh, this Meg isn't trained. It's just going to eat him." And the Meg kind of proves it's not fully trained. So it doesn't eat him. And like he goes through the entire film not being eaten by a Meg. I was kind of waiting for it. Okay, now he's gonna no. And he manages to survive. I'm fine. I liked him. He seemed like a nice guy. But he took too many risks and was a bit silly at times.
Yeah. Listen, you're not training a megalodon.
One click and it'll come. 2 clicks it goes away, and that doesn't happen at any point.
Listen, y'all, don't try. Like they don't even put a chip in its brain. They don't genetically modify it.
There's no kill switch bomb in there or anything. It's just it's just a Meg.
It's just a Meg.
He's just in a tank with a Meg.
Like that's like a Slim Jim training me. I don't know if that makes sense, but
I like it. I like the analogy.
I mean, like it's just not going to happen. But yeah, let's talk about something. This movie has a 28% tomato meter score. Audiences are laughing about it. Lisa Leahy is a big fan because it's silly. She enjoyed it, but people are not digging this movie, Jay. So where do you stand on it, and why do you think people aren't digging it?
I liked it a lot. I prefer this one to the first one.
Yeah, me too.
Okay,
we're the crazy ones.
Yeah, so we talked about the first one last week, and neither of us are huge fans of the Meg, which is currently sat at 46% on Rotten Tomatoes. So for that one to be higher than this one doesn't feel right.
It's bland.
Yeah, the first one's kind of bland. This one is more fun. This one, I think we like it because it draws from a lot of our favorite films. There's a lot of Jurassic Park in here. They do a full underwater in 25 minutes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Die Hard in here, like the Statham on the boat at the start. There's Die Hard, and then he's swimming underneath a long pier, and there's a guy above it shooting down into the pier. That's John McClane under the walkways and under the tables in Die Hard. It's the same scene, just on the water. So there's a lot of that, and I had a lot of fun with this one. There's dinosaurs. I hadn't seen the trailer. I knew that there was a T-Rex in it because I'd seen like the first few seconds of the trailer, but I love that whole opening. Of the dragonfly gets eaten by the lizard, gets eaten by the quadruped things that are apparently called snappers, but I can't find an actual name for them, which is frustrating. Gets eaten by the T-Rex, gets eaten by the megalodon. I've gone back and listened to the trailer breakdown you did with Zanandi, and you were talking about that being like a turducken, but you couldn't come up with a name. So I think it's the Meg Rex quadzard fly. The Meg Rex quadzard fly is the turducken of the Meg Rex quadzard. It's 5 things, so it's hard to say. But yeah, so I mean I love like show me another film where Jason Statham punches a dinosaur underwater. There isn't one, and that happens here, and I loved it. Like, there's little multicolored baby octopi. There's a giant octopus. There's 3 megalodons. One of them eats a pedalo. Like, what? How can you come out of this film with like that was a terrible film? It's a great film. It's so much fun.
Everyone's like the first half is unbearable, but I feel like the first half flies by. They're underwater before you know it. There's a Meg pet. Jason Statham's being Uncle Statham. He's charming. There's they're underwater before you know it, and then there's a giant. So Ben Wheatley wrote this. He wrote, I think I was trying to capture the excitement of watching stuff when you were a kid and you didn't question any of it. There wasn't any question that it was somehow sarcastic or trashy, or you're liking it to hate on it or whatever. And it's just, I think he's right. Like if you could if you went into the theater with your arms crossed and like they would never get a base underneath the Mariana Trench, how could they do that? Or you're like, this is too much like underwater, but then you're the same person that was like, underwater is too much like Alien, like so you didn't like underwater because it's too much like Alien. Now you don't like the Meg 2 the Trench because it's too much like underwater. So it's just like if you just sit there and you just watch it, and I know that's stupid. There's amount of like taking out your brain that he's asking for. But like I don't there's like a scene on a cargo ship that's not even needed in this movie.
Okay, so I think that's becoming. Okay, when we talked about the Meg, there's that very brief scene where they come
Shark
across
finning.
the shark finning scene, and they talk about shark finners. These guys are terrible, and then they're never mentioned again. And it's just, I think that's just kind of setting up. Okay, the people we're following, they're against this bad thing, so we're on board with them. Right. And then here you have that one scene where Statham, Cliff Curtis, and one of the other crew members, they're against dumping of radioactive waste in the ocean. Right, never mention it again. That's just a trend of these films. If they do a Meg 3, there'll be some other thing they're against just to get us on board, and then they'll mention it for a scene, then never again. And that's how this franchise works. And so I had a problem with it in the Meg. Now it's become the franchise factor. I'm on board. That's just what these films do. And I was like, okay, we've set a trend now. Fine, let's carry on going.
When you unleash plastic will be the next villain.
There we go. There'll just be these people. They keep on throwing those like sixth ring thing for cans of beer. The ocean's full of them. We don't like them. Cut them up. Never mention it again.
I love it. Yeah, and like DJ says something like DJ invents a machine to get rid. Well, I actually wear bracelets called For Ocean that are made from recycled plastic from the ocean. But yeah, and the pilot's name is Regis, and Melisante Mahout. Like I like her. She was fine in it.
Yeah, she was cool. She was cool. There was another like crew member who died in the underwater section. And
Curtis. She gets her head.
Yes, I think it was Curtis. Because three of them died, and I had two of them kind of mixed up. And when one of them died, and then the other one was alive, I was like, well, okay, so I'm just gonna forget the one that's passed away. So fine.
Because they had some red shirts down there, didn't they?
They did not introduce. Like one of them had collectible minifigures. One of them was his friend, and then there was another one. And those three were like, "Oh, you're all, yep, you've died. Okay, let's moving on." Right. No one is sad that you've gone now. Yep. One of you was sad the other one died, but then that one died as well. So no one cares anymore.
Yep. No one. Just pure and just straight up red shirts.
Yeah. As soon as like Lance appeared and was like scared at one point, it was like, "Oh, Lance is going to die now." Oh, yeah, there he goes. He just died immediately.
I was like, we were wondering who's going to die first. I'm like, Lance is going to get it. And then Sal gets it. And then Curtis, she gets a bloodless head smash.
She does. Yeah, her head implodes. That was a very tense scene. You kind of knew where it was going. Like her helmet's cracking, and they're trying to decompress before the helmet cracks, and you know it's not. How this scene is working, it's not going to be done in time. Then just before, it's a very very bloodless implosion of her scene.
And maybe it's on the bottom of the suit. Maybe she implodes so hard.
Maybe
that it goes into the quantum realm.
I have heard people say they weren't sure if that character had died immediately because like there's no blood or anything. But you see a body with no head. I put it together at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Ben Wheatley directed this film. Listeners, if you're not familiar with who Ben Wheatley is, he does not direct these films.
No.
Ben Wheatley is a fantastic director who has made the ones that I've seen and really liked. Kill List. I've never seen Down Terrace, but I need to.
Kill List, dude. Oh, Down Terrace is. Woo, you gotta watch that.
Kill List is excellent and the least Meg 2 film you'll ever see. Sightseers is fantastic. I loved Free Fire so much. Free Fire is like his next biggest film to this one. And I didn't really care for the Rebecca remake, but whatever. But he has like such low budget. Like Happy New Year, Colin Burstead is like a TV movie that it's yet to have a physical release. It just kind of came out on TV. But it stars what's his name? Neil Maskell is the star of that one, who's also the star of Kill List, and he's also one of the antagonists in Hijack on Apple TV at the moment. Watch Hijack. Hijack is fantastic. If you if you need a new 24, if you want 24 starring Idris Elba on a plane, Hijack is your show to watch. 7 parts, each one an hour long. Excellent cast. Beautiful show. Very tense.
Sold.
Strong recommendation. And Neil Maskell is one of the Chili Jackets.
Kill
But
this,
yes,
Jay.
Killing is excellent.
Where that movie goes,
This is
holy
fantastic.
mackerel. Sightseers. I have
Such a
never felt
dog
so
film.
unhealthy while watching a movie as I have watching Sights. That's an unhealthy, good movie.
So my wife's favorite films are like Finding Nemo, and I've watched Sightseers
Oh
with
no!
her.
Did you? Whoa.
I hadn't seen it before. That was like my first my first Ben Wheatley film, and I was like, oh, it's these two people who like get together, they go on a holiday, one of them's got a dog. Oh, great, this sounds great, and that's not where it ends up. It goes places.
Free
But
Fire
yeah,
is incredible though. It's
I
it's
loved
a
it.
gunfight movie where people lay mostly on the floor.
And it's all in one location pretty much. Such a fantastic cast. When people get shot, they get shot, and they stay shot. You've
Hmm.
got like Cillian Murphy, Brie Larson, Shelton Copley, Jack Reynor, Babu Cisse, Sam Riley, Michael Smiley. I was hoping for more of the bigger name Ben Wheatley regulars to crop up in Meg 2, but there are a couple of like it's the kind of smaller names from other films crop up here and there, mainly in the boat scene at the start. But no one that I would recognize. So yeah, apparently Ben Wheatley he likes to make different films. He doesn't like to make all of his films be the same. He's not a Michael Bay or whatever. Nothing against Michael Bay. Ben Wheatley likes to make different films, and so he made like Free Fire, Happy New Year, Colin Rebecca, In the Earth, and then his agent was like, "I got a script for Meg 2," and he's like, "I like monster films. Sure, let's make Meg 2." And the budget for Meg 2 is more than all of his other films combined.
Ah, times six.
He said that in an interview.
I mean, it's
I
got to be like times 2 or 3, right?
I think so because the budget for this one is somewhere between 129 and 139 million, according to Wikipedia.
Wow. And
And
that's, you know what? That's pretty cheap,
but like
right?
Rebecca had a budget like, undisclosed because it's a Netflix film. Let's see, Free Fire had a budget of 7 million, and that's like one of his higher budget films.
Oh man, the commentary on that is really good, by the way. Cillian
Oh, I need to
Murphy's
listen to
on
that.
there. It's
Yeah,
really
what's
good.
that? Not
D-
this isn't Wiggy's first time working with a man eater because of course Army Hammer was in Free Fire.
Ah!
Ah,
Ba-bum. Do you think the budget got away from him a little bit? Do you think this was because there's really no trace of him aside from some actors in here?
well, the shot inside the Meg's mouth
Oh
with
yeah,
the
like
two
Jaws
people.
2 type
That's
or
a
Jaws
Ben
3.
Wheatley. That was a Ben Wheatley note, and the pedalo was a Ben Wheatley note. I think I've heard him say that. Yeah, I feel like this isn't a Ben Wheatley film. This is a I still can't quite get my head around he directed this because this is the least Ben Wheatley film I can think of.
I mean, he was supposed to do Tomb Raider 2, and then that
Yes.
fell through. And so, I mean, he hasn't worked much. I mean, Into Earth was 2021. You don't get paid much for those movies. So
Yeah.
this like a internationally funded films like, hey man, we'll give you some $1 million to make this movie. Like, I guess you take it. Like you got it because like Into Earth isn't making bank.
No. I think he strikes me as the kind of guy who doesn't have a rich lifestyle. So
Yeah, that's
just like
true.
earning a little bit is probably gonna kind of tide him over. So I mean, he made Sightseers and a segment of ABC The Death in 2012. Then he did not Field in England 2013. He tends to do like a film a year or some TV in between two episodes of Doctor Who here and there. He did a show called Ideal, starring Johnny Vegas, a BBC show about a small-time drug dealer. So he does a lot of low-budget stuff, and I really want to know what he's going to do next. So where does he go from Meg 2? Is he going to do like a Transformers film? Is he going to go back to low budget thing? This is his films are like Christian Bale's Weight, where he just his physique, where he's just gonna go from one extreme to the other. What's he gonna do next? Who knows? I wanna know. But yeah, the budget getting away from him maybe, but then do you think it got away from John Turteltaub in the first film, or do you think?
Well, I think Turtle Taub, but the problem I think when you hire Turtle Taub is Shark Taub is he's just been there, done that. Like he did the National Treasure movies, he did Sorcerer's Apprentice, so I don't think you're going to get a lot of pizzazz from him. You're going to get the Meg from him. You're going to get a very workmanlike, familiar, easy to follow. And I'm not bagging on him, but like that's what you're going to get. And it made 500 million. So, and it did relatively well with people seem to genuinely like it. So I think you're going to get something like that from him. Like you know how they hired Chris Columbus for the first 2 Harry Potter movies?
Yes.
And then like they got Alfonso Cuarón and they're like, whoa, like we gotta take it back here a little bit. But I think a Turtle Taub, a Columbus, they're safe for the first movie. They can get you in the pool, get you swimming.
They can establish a base ground to work on from there. Yeah, because I think Columbus, he managed to assemble a great cast.
Yeah,
for his first Harry Potter films. And as a lot of the appeal of Harry Potter is just the adult cast. The child cast. They stuck with it and it all turned out great eventually. The adult cast, the Rickman, the Smith, the freaking Harris, everyone in those ones is great.
Yeah. I mean, I actually like think about how Marvel started, right? I think Jon Favreau was a bit of a wild card, but you had Kenneth Branagh. You know he can turn in a good Thor movie. You have Joe Johnston. Yeah, like Joe Johnston, he's gonna make you a good Captain America. Leterrier had made hits before.
Yeah,
like, I think
in Joss Whedon seemed like it's not a good idea at the time because he's good at bringing in that ensemble and doing like an ensemble film.
So they went safe. I mean, aside from like the RDJ casting and like unknowns and everything, but you get a Joe Johnston, people are like, oh, he made Jumanji, he made Rocketeer, we're good. Like you just, yeah, he made. But I mean, he still probably turned that in on budget and on time.
Hey, some people like that film.
Yeah, and that's why you get the Taub. And listen, I was talking about this on the Out Now with Aaron and Abe podcast where they both, Scott and Aaron both liked the Meg more because they love the scene in the Meg where he's with his ex-wife and the daughter of like his new crush, and they're both like, hey, you should go get it. Like it's like a interesting little subplot dynamic, like a nice world. Like, and the characters in this movie are quite nice.
I did not miss that though. That's one thing about this being a Ben Wheatley film. They took out all of the kitchen sink drama and like the soap opera stuff, which his films tend to have some of that kind of stuff. And then there's no romantic entanglements here. They've killed off.
Li Bingbing.
Yeah, they killed off Li Bingbing between films. There's like a black and white photo of her in this one. That's code for she's dead. I didn't call out Shia Sophia Kai in the opening credits, returning as Mai Ling.
Oh yeah, she's good too. Her and Uncle Statham are great.
Yeah, as is to be expected because they were great in the first one.
Yeah,
but I didn't miss that. Well, they're gonna get together, and that's his ex-wife. I didn't miss any of that stuff this time around. This is all there's like corporate espionage instead, and I'm here for that. It's very obvious who the bad guy, who the mole is. Because they linger on them for a second longer than they should do in a shot.
Megan called it out immediately. Megan went, "That's the mole."
Yeah. I did the same thing.
And I think you're right, Jay. We don't have the angry doctor who's still angry at him after the existence of a Meg is proven.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Like this movie, they're like, okay, we're gonna go to the trench. We're gonna find why do they have lights?
No. Why do they go back to the trench? Let's go back a step. Why do they go back at all?
Yeah, 28 dives.
Because they keep on going back and back and back, and they never explain why. Well, Wu Jing's character, Jing, is his character name, which is not confusing at all. He says they want to just find more creatures, and I'm like, why?
Stop.
Because did you remember the creature that you found last time? That didn't go very well. If you recall, your dad died during that sequence.
Have you not watched Battleship?
No, just remember the events of the Meg. The film that your character wasn't in, but you've got to know because your dad died during that sequence, that film. And your niece almost died. Your sister almost died. She has now died, presumably, by a Meg. We don't know. Maybe she was trying to train the stupid pet you keep.
And I think Meg 2 improves on two things as well. And in the first one that we just watched, everyone's sacrificing themselves. Go! I'm going to sacrifice myself. This movie, a guy tries to sacrifice himself, and Statham goes, no, you don't need to do that. And then he shoots the flare. Like, that was dumb. Just shoot the flare. You don't have to sacrifice yourself.
Yeah.
And then also
the flare scene was very Jurassic Park as well. Just like, just flare, throw the Ian freeze, throw the flare.
Yeah.
Such
And so they
Jurassic
get
Park.
rid of the flare, and also no one falls off boats.
That's true. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the Meg,
like, piers are destroyed, but no one. It's not like, oh, it's been 10 minutes and someone fell off a boat. DJ, fall off a boat. Okay,
yeah,
we're good for another 10 minutes. Let's go.
everyone falls off the boat in the Meg, so no one does that, and it's just maybe I'm crazy, but I think a lot of people went into this movie. Listen, the trailer was good with Barracuda. I think it was a hot trailer. I think a lot of people were excited to see another Meg, like another very straightforward Meg movie, and also cinephiles like us were like, Ben Wheatley's directing the Meg 2. Like, are you serious? So I had high expectations, but once I learned quickly, and also too, I mean, you got to understand this is financed internationally from around the world. So
Yes.
this isn't just this is a movie that's meant to appease the world, right? This is a movie that's meant to kind of make money worldwide. So you do have to tone it down a bit. You can't go full Rennie. You can't go full, I mean, Spielberg. Like, you got to just, this is not that movie. This is more of like an action film. This is more of a, I mean, they built a base under, it's insane. Like, but yeah, I mean, that's what it is.
Let's stay there for a minute, because these aren't the kind of films we need to bring a bunch of logic to them, and we're not going to.
I don't even know how, Jay.
Right. I loved. Okay, they have this underwater base that apparently has been funded by Wu Xing's company without him knowing it, because it's got the mole and everything. So they've set up this base below the thermal line in the Mariana Trench, and part of this base includes a full mining operation, including a rock smasher and conveyor belt. How expensive would it be just to take that stuff down there? Given that everything it crushes up, you're going to bring to the surface anyway. So why not just keep that, the conveyor belt and crusher, on ground level? Why is that down there?
It would be $1 trillion, Jay.
There's so much stuff down there.
Because you would need submersibles, you would need staff, you would need trained staff, you would need expensive gear. Also, are you not making noise?
Yeah, I mean you're attracting all of these beasties, all of these Megs and giant octopi, and who knows what else.
What? I want to know who built that, because I want to hire them.
I mean, it's like I still really want to see a time lapse video of someone building a Death Star. I want to see nothing from a full Death Star. You get a bit of it in Rogue One where they're lowering the satellite dish laser thing in. I want to see the whole thing. I want to see empty space and a Death Star appearing piece by piece, and just see how they did it. At what point did they make it airtight? Just like, how did they? I want to see it. I'm fascinated. I want same thing with here. I want to see nothing. A stationless trench, and then do they like make it? I'm gonna guess they make it on the land and then sink it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They had to have.
Yeah, and I guess you could do that if you make it not watertight, and just like put it on the sea, it will fill up and sink of its own accord. And then you go down there, you seal it, and you pump out the water somehow. That I reckon is going to be, because then you're just using gravity. I think that's going to be the cheapest way to do it, but that's still going to be tricky. He's going to need to like ground it and fasten it down to the earth at the bottom of the trench. Unless the thing is mobile, I don't know. Probably not. It just lands where it lands, and that's what we do.
You know how they do time lapses of giant sets that I love watching? Yeah. I want a time lapse of how they built this in the trench.
Yeah, that's
or they dropped it into the trench.
Yeah, I want it. I want all of this. Like, I'd love that.
Best project manager in the world.
Gotta be, yeah. I mean, do you reckon it's that lady who's just drinking wine the whole time? Is she the project manager? She seems pretty on top of things.
Yeah, I mean, she's drinking wine very weird too. Megan's like, why is she drinking? She's drinking wine evilly. She's not using this. Like, I was watching her drink it. I'm like, why is it? How? I've never seen somebody like she's going full Travolta from Swordfish. In this
absolutely,
movie.
Yes.
And but that's the problem with some of these movies. Like, I love what Ben Wheatley said about taking your brain out. But as soon as I saw that thing, I'm like, I want schematics. Like, that was my first thought. I went, like, that. Why is that there? Do you? This is an odd one, Jay. This is, you know what's interesting? I don't think movie court sounds like the worst place on the planet, right? Defending a movie in front of people is probably my nightmare. Because
I don't think you ever should have to. Like,
yeah.
If you like it, great. If other people don't, fine.
Exactly. But if I had to do a movie court, I don't think I could right this ship. Like, I don't think I could plug all the holes to make, I'm not Laura Linney from Primal Fear getting Edward Norton guilty in that movie. That's a weird poll. No. Am I Richard Gere? No, I'm Richard Gere. Laura Linney was the bad lawyer. So I'm Richard Gere.
I mean, given the
from Primal Fear
film, Richard Gere was a bad lawyer.
So maybe that's what I need to be. But yeah, I just can't. I don't know if I could defend this movie because there's almost a lot of plot, but not enough plot. They're like, I wanted more shark action. No, I want Jason Statham front kicking mercenaries into sharks' mouths. Like, that's what I want.
More dinosaurs.
There's a jet ski scene where he ramps a dinosaur. What else do you need?
When I got home from seeing this film, my wife was like, "So how was the film?" I was like, "I really liked it. A lot of people won't, but I really liked that film." I can see a lot of people not liking this, and that's fine for them. But I really enjoyed myself.
We call it cynicism, Jay, but like, I think some cynical people could go in there and see this. But I also think that not a lot of people like this movie, but we did.
Yeah, it's got a bad score.
Even on IMDb, like, it's not good anywhere. It got I don't even think I got an A cinema score. So like, people are walking out of this movie just not happy with it. But when I see that gigantic megalodon looking like the great white from 47 meters down too,
sure,
just scarred up, just looking awesome, and they're very tan. They're not bioluminescent, but we talked about that on the Meg episode. They're on the bottom of the ocean. I don't care. Like, why not? Give me some I like submarines. I like people with controls in their arms pretending to dive. Like, give me one of those in a movie. I'm happy with it.
I mean, they have the Lost World aspect of a little girl tagging along, being a stowaway, and she's along for the ride. It's pure Lost World. And the logic kind of makes sense as to why they can't bring her up, because the captive Meg pup has escaped and is chasing them. We do forget that how the Megs got out in the first place was when they left the thermocline. They left a hole big enough for the Megs to come through. But in the heat of the moment, I can see why they would forget that. It's been 5 years. And then when they are down under the thermocline, the explosion, all of the monsters come out. Octopus comes out, Megs come out, snipers come out, everything comes out. The logic makes sense to a point for these films, I guess.
And I don't know what it is about Statham movies, Jay. I've watched them all and I like them all.
He's a compelling screen presence, I think.
You know what you're going to get?
He's doing pull-ups to under pressure in a shipping container.
Yes. And like, when I watch Jason Statham, when I watch Transporter 3, when I watch his kind of direct-to-DVD stuff, like War, those kind, I don't ever expect I just expect a Statham film. I know what the quality is going to be. Yeah. And so I think I just went into the Meg 2 happy for that. And it's nice seeing him be nice. Also, too, like, Cliff Curtis is cool. I like seeing him in this. It was nice having, like, Paige Kennedy, the Regas, like, Sergio Paris Mencheta, like, just different people in this movie. Like, it had different faces in here, like Wu Jing. So like, it's nice not to just watch the 8th iteration of something and everyone's familiar. It was cool seeing new people come in and, like, I don't know, but I'm also biased, Jay. This movie goes 2 for 3 out of the Hoffmeyer scale. It's not Waterworld, but that's like automatic.
There's no catapults, unfortunately. We get creatures, we get jet skis. It's good enough.
This is kind of crazy, but I think it's on third place of Jason Statham's sequels featuring jet skis.
I heard you on your trailer breakdown saying that if this gets 70%. Then it was never going to get 70%.
Nope, never.
But it would like raise the average of his jet ski films.
Oh yeah, I was like doing the math on how to get there, but like So I would say Transporter 2, then Expendables 2, because they have two jet skis piloting a boat, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
And then they drop the jet skis off and they fly into the back of the plane. And then this. And I think this is fun, but I think it limits what like the jet skis just kind of go straight. He does some turns. I never know where the sharks are in this scene.
There's
He
a
stops
barrel roll
sometimes.
on a jet ski, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
I mean, the main thing is he's saying that there's going to be 3 jet skis. We'll each take a jet ski, and we've got these jerry-rigged explosive spears to get out. And they kind of get there, and I reckon Cliff Curtis at least is relieved there's only one jet ski because I don't see Mac being able to spear a Meg in the face. So
No.
he's like, oh, there's only one jet ski. I mean, I'll go. No, you're gonna go? Great, fine. Thanks, Statham. Thanks, Jonas. I knew you'd do this. So yeah, there's one jet ski, and then he takes out all these spears, and it goes remarkably well.
Yeah, he does good. Do you like the tall grass scene in this? The
Yeah,
Lost World callback?
with the snappers. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and then you then have the wine drinking lady in the helicopter, and a dinosaur gets in with her, and it's basically the Dennis Nedry death from Jurassic Park. So it's all there.
It's yeah. Ben Wheatley knows that too, right? He's just and like even the I'm not going to say who they showed in the trailer, but someone gets eaten saying that the glass is safe.
Okay, I guess I hadn't seen the trailer. I'm furious that's in the trailer.
Yeah,
Like the Sam Jackson death being in the trailer for Deeper Sea. That's the equivalent. Oh, this is mega proof. Oh, by the way, I had no idea it was coming. Loved it. A big outburst from me. Nothing else from the rest of my theatre because they'd all seen it in the trailer. So,
was that
terrible.
a lack of faith in this movie then by the marketing department?
I think it's just what are all the highlights of the film? Let's chuck them all in the trailer because there's no mention of the underwater station or the underwater walking sequence. It's all Meg stuff. It's all just like there's more Megs. They're all after us. The megalodons are coming after us, and it's all just like stuff on the surface at Fun Island. Sorry, it's the name Fun Island. I'm sure it's a real place, but it's all that kind of stuff. Like the pedalo is in the trailer. The make-proof glass bit is in the trailer. It's all like the Statham on a jet ski. None of that underwater stuff is down there because that's not visually exciting or as visually exciting. Whereas like it's the sunshine. He's taking out all of the people. That's what the trailer is, and that's all the best stuff. Unfortunately,
couldn't this movie been like we built a mining operation down there and we are going to send this stuff up? And Jason Statham's like, no, like you remember last time, and they're like, listen, this is like $20 billion worth of stuff, and then they create the gaps and everything comes out. Like that could have been.
I feel like the trailer could have been like this is the first Meg. That's all on the surface. So this is the trench. It could have been everything that's in the trench. This could have been like we're going down, we're stuck down in the trench. There's animals down here, and you have like the eel attack. You have the octopus. You have them running to the like. You shouldn't have anything from the last hour of the film. It should all be trench stuff because it's called Meg 2 The Trench. It's called The Trench. That's the title of the film. All of the Fun Island stuff should be a surprise.
Oh, that'd have been good.
I mean, keep the dinosaur intro. That's fine. That's great.
I mean, people would have come anyway, right?
It's the sequel to The Meg. The Meg was the most popular film of all time. It made so much money. How much did The Meg make? It made like $1 billion. I don't know.
530 mil.
Halfway that. But like far more than it should have done.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea because it had a built-in audience already. I did some math the other day about shark movies, and they're quite like Jonathan Hickman had me write about like why people keep going for his review. If you go on Twitter, I can include it in the show notes here. But he asked me to write about why people keep going back to the shark movies, and he asked me to do my top 5 most like important shark films. Where's my chain of where am I going here? Where am I going? People just watch shark movies. Like 47 meters down 2. The Shallows cleared 100 million. 47 meters down cleared 50 million. Deep Blue Sea made 160 million. Like you don't need to show everything to get people in a theater for this film. Like you said, show the trench, show the underwater shots, show I don't know.
Show some
Rocks.
animals. You can show some of the Meg stuff, some of the octopus stuff. That's all in the trench as well.
Yeah.
That's
going,
what people
oh
want to see.
no!
People want to see the monsters, and show them that, but don't show them in daylight. You keep the daylight stuff for the film.
Yeah, this isn't the host that just does it first.
I mean, I love the host.
Yeah,
So the host is great.
yeah,
But you
it's
don't have a
awesome.
lot of the great like family drama in the trailer for the host, and that's some of the best
Yeah.
stuff in that. So
Yeah, I just think I don't know it. And what's interesting too is since this movie was delayed, Ben Wheatley said he storyboarded everything. So it's not like this movie had a production that went to crap and then they just had to force it. Like Ben Wheatley, he said there was no issues on it because he storyboarded and they had everything so carefully planned. So this was the movie they want. They were able to make the movie they wanted with this, which is kind of. But can you give me a okay, Jay? You're in an elevator
okay.
and you have to explain this movie to me. And you did a breakdown in the beginning, but just do like person speak. I don't know what that means, but in an elevator.
So it's like Dathan's back. They're going back down to the trench. Last time it was 1 meg, kind of 2 megs. This time we've got 3 megs and a giant octopus. They're all wreaking havoc. And dinosaurs. They're down in the trench, stuff down there, and then they're back up on the surface, stuff up there too. And then we've reached the floor that we're going to.
Well,
He's
yeah,
on a
you
jet
did
ski.
I mean, yeah, like we don't get the mercenaries. You don't get, yeah, that makes sense. But it's just,
I mean, the espionage, the mold, that's not exciting. That's plot. It's I always feel like humans should be the bad guys in monster movies. Like Jurassic Park, Nedry is the bad guy. I don't see the raptors and the T-Rex as the bad guys in the first film. They're dinosaurs. Just doing what dinosaurs do. Deep Blue Sea, Susan's the bad guy. There's contention with that one, but Susan's the bad guy. I'm sorry. The sharks didn't want to be there. They're the heroes of the film. They're just trying to get out. They just want the Deep Blue Sea. Deep Blue Sea 2, it's the freaking Michael Beach is the bad guy. Deep Blue Sea 2.
Yeah.
Deep Blue Sea 3,
Limitless
there's a
Juice.
team of evil mercenaries.
Evil mercenaries.
They're bad guys. So it's Deep Blue Sea kind of sticks to my theory. When you make dinosaurs the bad guys, this is why Jurassic Park 3 fails to me. We'll talk about this soon. The Spinosaur is the bad guy in Jurassic Park 3, which, no, he shouldn't be. He's a dinosaur. We need bad people, and they need to be eaten by dinosaurs.
So they learned with the Indominus Rex, right? Because they made it genetically modified and smart in learning and killing. So it was still their fault, but they created a smart killing machine.
Yes. So the Jurassic World films, they all have bad people. Does Jurassic World? Yes, because they all have BD Wong in them.
Yes.
And like the guy from Men in Black whose name Vince D'Onofrio. He's a bad guy in the Jurassic World.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
you've got Rafe Spall and his accent. You've got Toby Jones. You've got the guy from Monk whose name Ted Levine.
Look, Ted Levine.
You've in Dominion. You've got
That guy.
Yeah, you've got the return of Dodgson. They've all got the bad guys. Jurassic Park 3, the only one without a bad people in it. I mean, you could argue William H. Macy and Taya Leone because they get thrown there under false pretenses, but they're just trying to save the kid. You get
yelling.
It. So much yelling. We'll talk about it soon.
I don't want to hate on Skylar Samuels. I think she's fine in this movie as Jess, but I was kind of like watching her and I was like, why are we watching her? Like, why?
Because she's the secret mole.
Yeah, but like, why? Why do we need a mole in this movie?
She was only the mole because she was Montez's girlfriend. I didn't like that.
Yeah, like I just there's some fat in this movie that is not necessary. Like, I don't know why they're in this. So I guess sometimes, like, I guess I know why things exist in movies, but watching that subplot, I'm like, why? And like, also, I mean, listen, I like Montez, but like, I don't know why. There's 3 giant Megs, and they're trying to shoot Jason Statham with a machine gun, and you're like, I don't get this.
Yeah, the final act, there's maybe too much going on. It could easily just be about Statham trying to take out these 3 Megs, and also there's an octopus there. But you have these bad guys trying to kill the good guys all at the same time. And there's a helicopter, and there's who's going to get the helicopter, but that does lead to some really fun stuff. Like you have Wu Jing being exploded into the helicopter like Close.
Yeah, that was cool.
In that,
the helicopter bit was good.
what's the Gremlin film? Chloe Grace Moretz gets exploded back up into the plane.
Oh, Shadow in the Cloud.
Yes, yeah, it's that same thing. It's ridiculous, utter nonsense, but I loved it. And
Like
there are times
DJ's
I've
being
just
funny. He makes that gum mirror. You
yeah, that's
have the
cool.
mercenaries
Yeah,
being eaten when they
the
lift up the
garage door
gate.
being lifted up. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
But
there's some
it's
fun stuff in it. It all like it's overcomplicated, but it leads to some fun bits.
I think Ben Wheatley kind of definitely combined a lot of movies. You have the Mercenaries of Lost World. You have Underwater. I mean, that's what most creature features are. I mean,
Yeah,
Jurassic Park is kind of Westworld. I mean, Michael Crichton wrote
sure.
both of them, like
Yeah,
robots
yeah.
instead of
Dinosaurs.
dinosaurs,
Yeah.
and creature features weren't anything new to the world.
They mention Jaws 2 in this film. Like so
DJ does.
yeah, like the poison tip spears from Jaws 2. That's like in Endgame talking about this is like Back to the Future was a bunch of BS. But yeah, they're talking about other films in films. It's fine. Everything draws on everything.
Hmm.
You know,
And don't complain. Don't do selective complaining, I guess. It's some people walk into a movie and like Underwater borrowed from Alien, but then they
everything
love
borrowed from everything. Star Wars borrowed
yeah.
from Japanese films.
Yeah, but it's just look, at the end of the day though, Megan and I left the theater very happy. We had a big smile on our face, but I also felt that and while I enjoyed it more than the Meg, I was a bit bummed, but I still had a lot of fun with it. Like I don't know if I'll revisit this movie a lot. Like I feel like I could go watch Underwater right now. Like I feel like I could
Yeah,
go watch The Shallows or 47 Meters Down too. Like I and I think what lacks in this movie are the sharks. Like in The Shallows, right? That shark is a dick. Like just a jerk. In 47 Meters Down, they're crawler descent sharks. Uh, they have a personality, like the T-Rex, the raptors, and in a lot of monster movies, the host. But these sharks have zero personality, and they're like almost an
yeah.
afterthought.
I mean, they tried to do something with the pup. There is even a scene where my Ying is talking to the pup, like, "Oh, do you miss your mum too?" And they're like having this bonding, like these two orphan creatures, one girl, one Meg, and again, never comes back to it. It's just like this
Hmm.
one moment. "Oh, do you miss your mum?" And it is that maybe why? I think Apache, I think is the name of the pup. Is that why it goes down to the trench to find more of its own kind
Yeah,
to
mating.
have a surrogate? Yeah, is the mating or to find a surrogate parent or something? I don't know. Uh, and yeah, they do kind of gloss over. Oh yeah, we found this Meg pup just out in the ocean. So presumably one of the Megs from the last film gave birth in a brief period of time between escape. But gloss over it. I get it. You had to. It had to be in the script. That's how you got around it. Fine.
Yeah.
Um, but I like the return of Pippin, the dog. I like he's nibbling on a tentacle.
Jeez
Almost like
Louise.
he's trying to take out this octopus, and he's a little, whatever kind of dog he is. And then
It's a double redemption for Pippin here.
Statham with the helicopter blade taking out that was pretty cool. How heavy are those things?
It kind of went Jaws 4. Jaws Revenge speared it. Like you're just standing there and you're like, oh no, is he gonna steer? Like it's still
I liked
fun
it.
though. Like I left this theater with a big smile on my face.
I mean, I
But
had a bit of a what the hell moment when he's filling his sinuses with water so he can survive down at 25,000 feet without a suit on. It's like, okay, the film has explained it, so I will go along with it. Okay, sure. But I had a deviated septum. I had an operation to correct it. I now think, oh, did I remove my superpower where I could have swum down at 25,000 feet deep? Um, God damn, I can breathe properly now in the surface, but what good is that to me? At the bottom of the Mariana Trench. When I'm there all the time.
with Kristen
But yeah,
Stewart and
you
Cthulhu.
don't see fish in metal suits is one of my favorite lines from the film. When they're explaining this is
Yeah.
gonna work because like fish don't need armor, they don't need underwater suits. They're fine. Therefore, if Statham fills his sinuses with water, he'll survive for 30 to 60 seconds, and then immediately upon waking up, have a full fist fight. Fine, sure, okay.
And the Edge of Tomorrow suits never come back.
No, well, they're what they're walking in under the sea, aren't they? They're what when it
They just have their suits. She's like, I packed my
yeah
suit.
okay. I figured that was the Edge of Tomorrow suits is what they were walking in.
Is that Oh, that's
think
what it was?
so. I mean, it makes no sense for them to be introduced at the start of the film if they're not what they're walking in. So I have to assume that's what they are.
Just like they never punch anything.
Statham
They just never
punches a
punch
dinosaur
anything.
wearing that suit.
Oh no, with the suit to like crack
Yeah,
it.
okay.
You know, like it doesn't deliver a aliens-esque fight scene.
Yeah. They could have done more with the suits, definitely.
How many alien fighters do you think started going into like loaders trying to fight aliens and failed spectacularly after watching
Bring it
Ants?
on! I've got this thing that can lift boxes. I'll fight you.
It just stabs the person right in the chest. It trips the person. Instead of like trying to stab the head, it just takes the leg out and they fall in the back.
They're clearly not designed for combat because there is no protection for that chest area in the aliens' mech suits. They are just designed for tree working. And in Avatar, the second one, Edie Falco's just drinking coffee in it, so she's just using it to walk around and drink coffee. So,
yeah, I mean that sounds great. Actually,
for combat. Stop using them for combat.
Anywhere that I can, any fancy place I can drink coffee, I'll do it.
So I have, as this is a new film, I haven't got a full Deep Blue Sea adjacency list because that would have been too much note taking. And I haven't got a full Deep Blue Sea ranking. I've got an estimate of a Deep Blue Sea ranking, or a deep ranking at least, not a blue. So like I kind of timed roughly how long they were down at the bottom of the trench for, which they said they were 26,000 feet down, and so if that is the case, then this works out at being about 2,627 meters deep on average, which puts it a little deeper than the Meg. I'm not putting this in the spreadsheet yet because when this comes out on streaming, I'll do a full proper analysis, like minute by minute, see whatever of how deep it is. At the moment, it's looking like it's deeper than the Meg because they are down in that trench for a while, but nowhere near as deep as underwater. Nowhere even close. So this would probably be our fourth deepest film between Aquaman and the Meg. But we'll see. Blueness, no idea. I was quite disappointed that the lights that they had when they're down the trench were mostly red, which is going to affect the blueness by quite a bit. But then when they're up in Fun Island, it's a lot of fun. And in terms of how is it similar to Deep Blue Sea, there's a shark escape with a talking parrot. There's a young shark's been raised in captivity. There's the Hunky Mercs from Deep Blue Sea 3, and the closing credits song by a cast member with Paige Kennedy singing. Is it a jump on this? Is it? Jump? Yeah. Fun. And I have to like the tagline of New Meg Old Chum is delightful, as is Statham's kickoff line of "See you later, chum," as he kicks the guy into the Meg mouth. Perfect. Beautiful.
There's enough there.
I like
to enjoy.
IMDb trivia. The top IMDb trivia for this is the most expensive shark movie ever made. Yes, I believe that.
This might shock you, and I hope you're not annoyed by it, but can I read you my movies that feature sea creatures or like angry animals and jet skis? Can I read my review, my ranking? Okay. So this is my ranking. The definitive ranking of films that feature deadly or magical sea creatures and jet ski action scenes. Deep Rising. Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar.
Below Deep Rising.
Piranha 3D. Waterworld. You don't mess with the Zohan because there's a piranha they put in their pants. And there's jet skis. Meg 2, The Trench. Shark Attack 3, Megalodon. Which is insane.
Haven't seen that one yet.
And then Shark Night. And Shark Night. So I like all of them, but I have Meg. Oh wait, I messed up my ranking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have it at 6. Man, I'm terrible with rankings.
We've yet to cover anything in the Shark Attack franchise.
I am so bad with my rankings. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.
Fine.
I just moved too quick, Jay.
Yeah, I need to. The Shark Attack films are on the long list. We haven't got to them yet.
Watch the third one because there's this horrible jet ski action, and there's one of the craziest lines. If you watch Sharks.
The line. It's the guy from Torchwood. What's his name? John
Barrowman.
John Barrowman.
That is a saucy guy right there. I used to have to work with him at Comic-Con.
There was a time when he was on every UK chat show, late night thing, everywhere for like years, and I haven't seen him since. He seemed like a nice, irritating guy. He seemed like a lot.
Hey, I have some rankings here from Movies, Films, and Flicks that I asked for. Do you want to hear? All right. I need some help. What's your favorite Jason Statham movie? What's your favorite Ben Wheatley movie? What's your favorite movie moment involving a jet ski? Bradley Gerber says Transporter 2. He wrote Who the F is Ben Wheatley and Hitch.
Sure. An easy thing to Google, but fine.
Tony Coogan.
Yeah, friend of the show.
Yeah, big friend of the show. Wonderful podcast. Wrote Snatch, Sightseer, Swiss Army Man. Oh, okay. Good call. Sweet. Good call. Aaron Neuwirth, friend of the show. Crank, Kill List, Hard Rain.
Great.
Neil Mitchell, Spy. Have not seen any of his movies. Fool's Gold.
Neil, get on to some Ben Wheatley films. Watch Free Fire.
Chris Kelly, Crank, A Field in England, Triple X, The Return of Xander Cage, which has a motorcycle jet ski, so I'll give it to him.
Do we need to cover Fool's Gold at some point on the show?
Yes. Jesse Deal, Snatch, High Rise, Shark Attack 3, Megalodon. Tucker Massey.
High Rise.
He just gave us
choice for Ben
Spy.
Wheatley. Okay.
Just Spy.
I didn't dig High Rise. I didn't finish High Rise. I got like halfway through and just wasn't feeling it, so I stopped.
I was like, just not as it's like a vertical Snowpiercer that I just wasn't into.
But with less action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack Austin, Snatch. This is my first time hearing of Ben Wheatley, and Waterworld. Megan Hoffmeyer, Spy, Free Fire, and Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar.
Hell yeah.
My wife. And then John Wheeler, Johnny Numb, Ghosts of Mars, which I will argue to the end of the day is having a very effective tone. Kill List, and you're gonna like this, Deep Rising.
Nice. I never saw Ghosts of Mars. I don't know.
You know, I had someone say that they would never listen to my opinion ever again when it comes to movies because I said I liked it. And listen, I get all the complaints on it, but Jay, I'm telling you, if you can just watch it, like, just don't background it. If you can just kind of live in that world, there's a really odd tone to it. It makes me quite nervous.
I mean, I've had people say that they never listen to my opinion again because I recommended The Big Lebowski. So people are strange.
People are strange. Yeah.
When they're a stranger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's a running joke that I recommended Big Lebowski to people, and they're like, "Is this another one of your like great films, like Big Lebowski?" So yes, that classic that spawned a cult.
Or is this like one of your versions of like Being There? What? So do the right thing. What?
Like people. Yeah.
Seven Samurai, he says. More like Seven No's. Wait, what does that mean?
I'm waiting for you to explain. I do not know. Anyway, I think this was a fun film, and I'm glad we've seen it, and I'm glad we covered it.
We did
I'm
it,
waiting
Jay.
for the Meg 3. I'm looking forward to it. If they, are they gonna have they greenlit Meg 3? I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's made 150 million worldwide. The budget wasn't huge, and it made 53 in China opening weekend. So let's say it ends with like 100-something million there. Let's see, where are we at now? So right now it's at, I haven't checked since Sunday. Yeah, right now it's at 145. That's not bad. I think it'll end with like 300-400 million. So why not?
I'm looking up the plot summary for the third Meg book, Meg Primal Waters. 18 years after the events of the previous novel, Jonas Taylor now lives in Tampa, Florida, with his wife Terry and 2 children. Overwhelmed with past due bills and his rebellious teenage daughter Danielle, and suffering from a midlife crisis, Jonas accepts a job as a consultant from Hollywood television producers on the top-rated reality TV series Daredevils, providing his expert commentary on a contest being held in the South Pacific Ocean. Which, yeah, I'm not going to get... That's like the first bit, so that leads to more Megs being lured to surface waters for reality TV. Hilarity. Jonas using his pet Meg Scarface. Oh no, wait, that says... Sorry. A different character plans to get his revenge on Jonas using his pet Meg Scarface. So
oh my gosh.
Called Michael Maron, who hates Jonas and has a pet Meg. Yeah, I'm here for it. I'll watch it.
Yep. Take my money.
Try and make it deeper
Take
than
it all.
Who's going to direct that one? Who's the least likely director you can think of to direct Meg 3?
Celine Sciamma, who did Petite Maman and Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah, oh man, that'd be great. All right.
Greta Gerwig's Meg 3.
The soundtrack by Dua Lipa and Tame Impala. They're on every soundtrack now, Tame Impala. Turn around, Tame Impala's behind you.
I liked the cover of That's Not My Name in this one.
Yeah.
The cover of Mickey from the first one. I like that they just kept having these well-known English language songs and just covering them in, was it Thai? I'm not sure. But it was fun. It's a fun version. And then, Paige Kennedy's song Chomp is also fun as well. I stayed through the full credits just to listen to it. So. And I was really hoping for another Finn at the end, which we had at the start of the first one. They didn't have that here.
You know what would be better? If it said Isht.
Yes, perfect. Missed opportunity. I'd love it, yeah.
Things you don't know. In the first one they say Finn, and the second one they say Isht. Finn Isht.
Excellent. Well, I think that's going to do it for our coverage of Meg to the Trench. Mark, any plugs?
Yeah, just Deep Blue Sea the podcast, movies from the flicks. You know how it goes.
Go listen to your Out Now with Aaron and Abe talking about this film.
And Die Hard 2 with Movie Rob. And also Hello in Nigeria. Jay, our so Final Fights, Con Air, Deep Blue Sea, and MFF were all in the top 7 in Nigeria recently.
You're like some kind of celebrity over there. I feel like if you go to Nigeria, you're going to walk down the street. As soon as you say a word, people don't know what you look like. If you say a word, people are like, oh, it's you'd be mobbed.
Also too, we had a really nice shout out. Movies Films and Flicks had a really nice shout out from a website. Let me find it real quick. But we were in their top 15 podcasts to listen to. Nice. Let's see, what is it? But
podcast.
makeheadway.com. But almost like we're like with The Ringer and Empire. But they said this may be the best movie podcast if you want to dive into everything from the most anticipated films to iconic actors and notable classics.
Congratulations. They are correct. It's a very fun show.
Yeah, get Deep Blue Sea on there.
So I was just on MFF to talk about Jason Statham on a jet ski and Transporter 2. So you're welcome.
It's kind of still covered.
If you want to hear, if you liked my Statham impression last week, then listen to that show because it comes back. And I haven't done it much today because my throat hurts, and it does not help. So you can hear me over on MFF Talk with Transporter 2. You can hear me. You can't hear me on the most recent episode of the Lambcast, but you can hear friends of the show, Richard and Lisa, along with Darren and Dave, talking about this film. And they talk about our show a lot, and they do a game that's all about shark movies. So you should listen to that and play the game and just beat everyone else in that game because they didn't do very well. They did fine, I guess, but Lisa struggled to remember films that she's talked about on this podcast. So, so listen to that episode of the Lambcast, and then go back to the older ones so you can hear me hosting movie trivia. But as for Meg to the Trench, next week will be Airport 77 with the host of the Airport Minute podcast. Join me for that one, so check that out next week to hear us talk about a plane stuck underwater for a while. But for Meg to the Trench, I've been Jay Cluett.
And I'm Mark Hoffmeyer.
And we'll Deep Blue see you next week. See you later, chums.
See you later, chums. I can't do it.
See you later, chums.